Have you ever woken up feeling relatively decent, only to spend an extra 40 minutes in bed scrolling through your phone or just staring at the ceiling, and then found that when you finally stand up, your legs feel like lead and your knees creak like an old floorboard? What if I told you that those extra minutes of rest are actually the very things stealing your strength and making you feel years older than you actually are? It is a quiet habit that many of us fall into, especially as we get older and our schedules become a bit more flexible. But there is a hidden danger lurking under those cozy covers. We often think we are doing our bodies a favor by resting a little longer. But for a senior, staying in bed too long after the sun comes up can be the secret culprit behind that nagging back pain, the sudden dizzy spells, and even that feeling of brain fog that just won't lift. It is not just about being productive or beating the clock. It is about the physiological toll that prolonged inactivity takes on a body that is designed for movement. You might have been told that your aches and pains are just a natural part of aging, but I am here to tell you that there is a specific daily habit that almost everyone thinks is harmless, but is actually contributing to your discomfort. In this video, we are going to uncover the 4 major dangers of staying in bed too long after waking up, and more importantly, I am going to show you exactly how to transition out of bed in a way that protects your joints and supercharges your energy for the day. By the time we are done, you will have a clear plan to regain your mobility and feel more vibrant than you have in years. Before we jump into these 4 points, if you care about staying healthy and independent as you age, please consider subscribing to our channel and turning on notifications. We share the kind of senior health tips that doctors often overlook because they just don't have the time in a 10-minute appointment. And I would love to get to know you a little better, so drop a comment below and let me know where you are watching from today. Whether you are in the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, or anywhere else in our wonderful global community, I am so glad you are here. Now, let's talk about why staying under those covers might be doing more harm than good. The first danger we need to address is what I like to call the muscle melting effect, or what scientists formally refer to as accelerated sarcopenia. Imagine your muscles are like high-performance engines. When an engine sits idle for too long, the oil settles, the parts get stiff, and eventually, things start to rust. When you stay lying down for an hour or two after you have already woken up, your muscles are essentially in a state of deep hibernation. For a younger person, this might not be a big deal, but when we are over 60, our bodies handle muscle maintenance very differently. Research has shown that seniors can lose muscle mass up to 3 times faster than younger adults when they are inactive. When you stay horizontal, your leg muscles, particularly the quadriceps and the calves, are not being recruited to fight against gravity. This lacks the stimulus they need to maintain their density. Think about a time when you had to stay in bed for a few days because of a flu. Remember how shaky your legs felt the first time you stood up. That is an extreme version of what happens on a smaller scale every single morning when you linger too long. One study from the University of Texas found that even short periods of bed rest can lead to a significant drop in protein synthesis in the muscles of older adults. This means your body literally stops building and repairing your muscle tissue because it thinks you don't need it. I want you to picture your muscle fibers like tiny, intricate rubber bands. When you move, they stay elastic and strong. When you stay still, they become brittle and thin. This is why you might feel like your balance is a bit off, or why the stairs seem steeper than they used to be. It is not just age, it is the lack of gravity. My advice for you today is not to jump out of bed like a teenager, but to start engaging those muscles while you are still lying there. Try some simple ankle pumps or gently squeezing your glutes. It tells your body that the engine is starting up and it is time to keep that muscle tissue strong. Remember, it is never too late to stop the melt. Even small movements make a massive difference in your long-term independence. Moving on to the second danger, and this one might surprise you because it involves your heart and your circulation. It is the hidden strain of postural hypotension and cardiovascular sluggishness. When you are lying flat, your heart doesn't have to work very hard to pump blood to your brain because everything is on the same level. However, your body has a very sophisticated system of valves and pressure sensors that keep your blood flowing properly when you stand up. When you linger in bed for too long after waking, these sensors, called baroreceptors, start to get a little lazy. They get used to the easy life of horizontal living. Then, when you finally do decide to get up, your system isn't ready. The blood pools in your legs, your blood pressure drops momentarily, and you feel that familiar head spin or a sudden wave of fatigue. I remember a gentleman named Arthur who I worked with a few years ago. He loved his morning news and would sit propped up on pillows for 2 hours every morning. He couldn't figure out why he felt so exhausted by noon and why he felt faint every time he went to the kitchen for coffee. We realized that by staying in bed, he was actually deconditioning his heart's ability to respond to gravity. It is like trying to start a car that has been sitting in the cold for weeks. The battery just doesn't have the same kick. Beyond just the dizziness, staying horizontal prevents your lymphatic system from draining properly. This is why many seniors notice puffiness in their face or ankles in the morning. Your body needs the vertical posture and the contraction of your leg muscles to push those fluids back up toward the heart. Think of your legs as a second heart. Every time you take a step, you are helping your circulation. By staying in bed, you are essentially keeping that second heart turned off. To fix this, try sitting on the edge of the bed for a full minute before you stand up. This gives your internal pressure sensors a chance to wake up and get to work. It is a simple strategy, but it can save you from a dangerous fall and keep your energy levels much more stable throughout the day. If you are finding these insights helpful so far, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps our community grow and ensures that other seniors who might be struggling with these same issues can find this information. We are halfway through our list, and the next 2 points are perhaps the most important for your mental clarity and joint health. The third danger we have to talk about is the disruption of your circadian rhythm and the onset of morning depression or brain fog. This is a big one that often gets overlooked in physical health discussions. Your brain has a master clock called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which relies heavily on light signals to tell your body when to be alert and when to rest. When you wake up, your body is supposed to experience a natural spike in a hormone called cortisol. Now, we often think of cortisol as a stress hormone, but in the morning, it is your best friend. It is what gives you that get up and go feeling. However, for that spike to happen effectively, your brain needs to see light and your body needs to perceive that the day has begun. When you stay in a darkened or dimly lit bedroom for a long time after waking, you are sending confusing signals to your brain. You are essentially telling your system that it is still nighttime, which keeps your melatonin levels higher than they should be. This is why you might feel like you are walking through a cloud for the first few hours of the day. It is not that you didn't get enough sleep, it is that you haven't properly signaled to your brain that the sleep period is over. This can lead to a cycle of low mood and lack of motivation. Have you ever noticed that the longer you stay in bed, the harder it feels to actually get started? That is not laziness. That is a chemical imbalance caused by staying in the dark. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that seniors who were exposed to bright light early in the morning had significantly better mood scores and more robust energy levels than those who stayed in low-light environments. Imagine your brain is like a solar-powered battery. It needs that morning light to charge up. Even if it is a cloudy day, the natural light outside is much stronger than your bedside lamp. My recommendation is to make it a habit to open your curtains as soon as you wake up. Or better yet, make your way to a sunlit room within 15 minutes of opening your eyes. It is an easy way to wash away that morning fog and start your day with a sense of purpose. Finally, we come to the fourth danger, which is the literal rusting of your joints, specifically the spine and the hips. We often think that by staying in bed, we are protecting our aching joints, but the opposite is actually true. Your joints are lubricated by something called synovial fluid. Think of this fluid like the oil in a hinge. The catch is that synovial fluid doesn't just sit there, it is produced and circulated through movement. This process is often called joint squish. When you move, you compress the cartilage and then release it, which sucks fresh, nutrient-rich fluid into the joint space and flushes out waste products and inflammatory markers. When you stay still for too long in the morning, your joints are essentially starving. For those of us dealing with arthritis, this is why the stiffness feels so much worse after a long period of rest. By staying in bed, you are allowing inflammatory chemicals to settle in your joint tissues. It is like letting wet cement sit in a mixer. The longer it stays still, the harder it is to get it moving again. Picture your spine. The discs between your vertebrae are like little sponges. Overnight, they soak up fluid and expand. This is why you are actually a little bit taller when you first wake up. But if you stay lying down, that extra pressure remains on the nerves and the surrounding muscles without the relief of movement. This can lead to that deep, dull ache in your lower back that seems to last all morning. Many people find that their back pain actually improves once they start walking around, and that is because they are finally pumping that fluid out and getting the circulation going. You don't have to go for a run. Even just a slow walk to the kitchen to put the kettle on is doing wonders for your cartilage. It is not too late to make a change in how your body feels. Your joints are incredibly resilient if you give them what they need, and what they need most of all is gentle, consistent motion. So, to recap what we have learned today, staying in bed too long after waking up can lead to 4 major issues. First, it melts away your precious muscle mass because of a lack of gravity. Second, it makes your heart and circulation sluggish, leading to dizziness and fatigue. Third, it confuses your brain's internal clock, causing mood drops and brain fog. And fourth, it causes your joints to stiffen up by preventing the circulation of lubricating fluid. It is all about giving your body the right signals at the right time. By making the choice to get up and get moving shortly after you wake, you are choosing strength over weakness and clarity over confusion. I know it can be hard. I know some mornings the bed feels like the only safe place when your body is aching or you are feeling overwhelmed by the challenges of life. But I want you to remember that your body is a miraculous machine that is always trying to heal and strengthen itself. All we have to do is give it the right environment. Growing older might be inevitable, but growing weaker doesn't have to be. With these smarter strategies, you can maintain your freedom and keep doing the things you love, whether that is gardening, playing with your grandkids, or just enjoying a walk in the park. You are not alone in this journey. We are a community of people who believe that our golden years should be spent in motion, not in the shadows of a bedroom. Every small step you take, every time you choose to sit up and stretch instead of hitting the snooze button, you are taking a stand for your health. Now, I would love to hear from you. Which of these 4 points surprised you the most? Do you find yourself lingering in bed in the morning? And if so, do you notice these aches or the brain fog we talked about? Share your thoughts or your own tips in the comments below. I read every single one of them, and I know our fellow viewers learned so much from your lived experiences. If this video helped you or gave you a new perspective, please hit the like button. It truly means a lot to us and helps this message reach more seniors who might be struggling. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and join our community. We have so many more science-backed insights coming your way to help you thrive. If you are determined to start getting out of bed a little earlier and reclaim your strength, type a 1 in the comments to let me know you are in. I truly believe in your ability to make these changes. Keep taking those small steps for your health. They truly do add up to giant strides in your freedom. Stay strong, stay healthy, and remember that your independence is carried by your legs. I will see you in the next video.